Whoop. Hey guys, how's it going today? We got in the channel here. It's the first KTM we've had on the channel. I picked up a 1290 Superduke. This is a 15. I'm going to do a first impressions video of it. I haven't even washed it yet or anything. I've ridden this like twice. So we're going to do a raw first impression video of this. And I'll do an exhaust note quick, but it's not going to be the walk around. I haven't even done that yet, but the bike needs a wash and stuff. And I'll have to do its first oil change, and it's got okay oil in it right now, but I'm going to put some mold tool in it and stuff like that. Let's get an exhaust sound, and we'll go out on the road. All right, here it is, a quick unwashed walk around here of the KTM 1290 Superduke. This is the 15 model. It has a aero exhaust on it, but we're not going to get into it too much here because that'll be separate walk around video. But it needs a wash for that. It needs to be waxed. It's I like to have them looking nice for the walk around videos. So let's give it a listen here, and then we will get out on the road and talk about the first impressions on this guy. Previous owner had a little removal for a flight guy there. Those are always pretty funny. It says not legal. Legal has something to do with the dongle attached, or the settings he had before, because he had it in he had all the traction control and everything turned off. So that's why I keep saying that. Okay, here's the aero exhaust for you. Walk around this side here. Not too loud, but it's got a good throaty sound. Off the back of the bike here. Pretty good sounding exhaust. There's a block off plate it's got too. We'll talk more about that later. Alright, let's get out on the road. Whoop! Hey, we're out on the bike, guys. Oh man. This thing is crazy. Alright, so we're out in the 15 Superduke. A little dirty today because we just had some snow and stuff. But I'm not sure when this video is going to come out, but this is the beginning of the season. Beginning of April here. Yeah, you can see the snow around here, but it's melting. It's a 50-degree day today. Woo! Alright, let's talk about the brakes. There's no one behind us, so we'll get up over this hill here and we'll do our brake check. Man, this thing is an absolute blast to ride, you guys. Alright, no one behind us, there is not. We're going, what, 60 here? Brake-a-rooney. See if we get the ABS to engage. Nope, no ABS engagement. Brakes get you stopped. These brakes need to be bled, especially the rear brakes, so I'm not going to do, I can't really give you a, how would you put it, a final thought on it here, because I know the rear brake needs to be bled. I can just tell. It works. That was just rear brake there, but it is not fantastico. So I'll have to get back to you on the full review here once I get the Blake spread, oil change, all that stuff done. But this is just first impression. So they work fine. They're Brembos. The front brake is quite good, but I'm going to replace all the fluid and everything in these and bleed them. So then I will get back to you. But for now, they work fine. Not best brakes ever. They're not as the R1 probably had better brakes in the current state of these brakes, but we'll get back to you once they're bled and replace the fresh fluid. It's .4, I believe. Yeah, you can use 5.12 on these, but this is .4. I'm gonna put .4 in this because that's what it says on the master cylinder. Oddly enough, let's talk about the clutch. The clutch here uses mineral oil, which I'm going to. It's really good. I don't know if I'm gonna mess with it, but I'm gonna buy some for it. It looks like it's got that. What's that called? That red blood in it. It might be that. Forget the company's name, Magna something. I don't know. That makes this mineral oil, for hydraulic mineral oil that you can get. But some of the KTMs use that. Ooh, look at all this trash up here. I'm not going to ride through that. Yeah. While we did that there, I would normally hit twisties up here, but I think it's gonna be a slop hole because of the. Should we hit it anyway? Nah, it's gonna be a slop hole. I'm not gonna hit it. There's a lot of sand and stuff on the road still from the winter time, so we're gonna wait to hit those. There's the ridges up there that we hit a lot on this channel, but we can't do that today because I was up there earlier, like a week or so ago, and it was pretty sloppy, sand everywhere. So yeah, what I was going to talk about is the flickability. And for me, it's good. Some people don't like it because it's a bigger bike, you know. So some people say that it's not very flickable, and maybe it's not compared to the smaller stuff like street triples and stuff like that. But for me, it's plenty flickable for me. If you get a tire that's more of a V-shaped tire, maybe like a Pirelli or something, I got trash in the road here, maybe it'd be even better. Probably would be. But with these tires and this weight, it's good for me. It's not like flickable like the MT-07 was. That thing was like flyweight flickable. But for this size of bike, I think it's acceptable, right? I like it. Feels good. It feels like, I like the cross, kind of the cross between in this bike. Like, it feels like you've got something. Like the Hayabusa really felt substantial. That bike was, you know, heavy and big, and it feels like you're really riding something. Which is the opposite of the MT-07. That bike felt like you had nothing, like you had a toy basically, or something like that. It was just really, really, really light. And some guys like that, super flickable. This is like a cross between them. This isn't, you know, super stable and massive feeling like the Busa, and it's not like tiny and minuscule feeling like the MT-07. It's like kind of in between those two, if that makes sense. I know they're very different platforms. Well, the MT-07 is more related to this than the Busa would be to this, except for the power, but the actual platform and the way you sit and all that. But yeah, it's kind of in between, and I like that. So I really do like that about this bike. Alright, we got to talk about the motor, of course, the LC8 in this 2015. This is a Gen 1 Superduke, as far as I'm aware. And you can see the roads are kind of still salty and stuff, so I'm gonna have to wash this. This bike needs a good wash anyway, so I'll hose it down and stuff this weekend. So, yeah. Oh, yeah. Better brake for this corner here. Don't want to hit this corner at 70. Not, at least not in these conditions. Alright. The motor. You guys, the motor. Oh my gosh, you guys. So about 180 horsepower on this in the Gen 1. It's 100 and something torque, I don't know, like 110 or something. It's pretty wild. I really like it. It's pretty vibey in the foot pegs. You know, maybe you can rectify that with some rubberized foot pegs or something, but it is vibey on the feet. In the seat, not too bad. Handlebars, a bit of vibes in the handlebars, but it's kind of it's a different kind of vibration. It's not buzzy like what would be the kind of buzz that like the S1000R had. I know maybe some people don't think that bike is very buzzy, but to me, like, the frequency it buzzed at was like hard on me for some reason. Oh man, this thing gets up and goes. Holy crap. We're not hammering it too hard. I had the wheel up by accident in third gear the other day when I was out. What is that? That is a turkey. That is a turkey. All right. So I really like the motor in this bike. The LC8's also supposed to be quite reliable as far as I've seen. This is the reason I didn't get a smaller motor like the LC4 or the Parallel Twins. I've heard those aren't very reliable, even though I probably would have preferred a smaller KTM, like a 890 or something like that. Holy, look at that. Holy smashed semi-truck Batman. That was a really bad day for that guy. I hope he's okay. Got some traffic coming still. So yeah, I would have preferred a smaller Duke, but I've heard that those motors are not very reliable. I could be wrong. Could just be internet bull crap, you know. But that's why I went for the LC8. I found a good deal on this and grabbed it. Maybe in the future we'll get a, you know, 890 or 790 in the channel or something like that. But the LC8 is supposed to be real reliable, and it's got more power than I would ever need. And actually, you know, it's not that hard to ride, and the gas mileage is actually pretty good too. So by not hard to ride, I mean the first, obviously it's not a beginner bike. I would never recommend this to somebody who's new. But the first 50%, I would say, or let's see here. Yeah, the first 50%, 40% of the throttle travel, it's not a wild animal by any stretch of the imagination. It's completely controllable. But when you get beyond the first 50%, like when you, yeah, then it would scare a new rider for sure. And you need good throttle control. if you're going to ride this thing. So you need to have a few years under your belt, 2, 3, 4 years, some experience, probably with some other bigger bikes before you go to this, because this is kind of a pretty wild machine compared to even the Busa's throttle response is probably smoother than this, although the Busa was incredibly fast, and so was the ZX14. But the throttle response in this is a little more jerky than that, but not as jerky as like an MT bike, like the MT10 that I had, or MT7. I haven't had an MT9 yet, but we'll hopefully fix that this year. Maybe we'll get ourselves a Z900 or MT9 on the channel this year as well. So yeah, the throttles, it's not jerky, but it's not as smooth as like some of the other big bikes like the Busa and stuff is. So yeah, this is definitely not a beginner bike, but I like the throttle. I mean, I'm getting used to it and stuff, and I think it's fine. But it's also not so jerky that it's like a handful and hard to ride in a mess or something like that. And I know I've heard that even the second gen and third gens, they've smoothed up the throttle even more. This is totally acceptable for me though. I like it. It's fine. It's kind of, people have said the Gen 1s are more raw. I don't have a comparison because I haven't rode the newer generation the newer generation Superdukes, I'm sorry. But is this guy turning, or he is turning? Okay, he had his blinker on for a long time, so I wasn't sure. We're gonna hit these back roads down this way for a few minutes and keep talking about this crazy machine. Whew. First gear gets you up to about 45 miles an hour, 50 or something there, depending on how far you rev it out. So yeah, I think this is, so far, I really like this motor. The vibes and the foot pegs are a bit much, but I don't really notice them, I guess, when you're riding around. If I rode it for more than an hour, I'm sure you'd probably start noticing it. Woo! That top end. The cool thing is, it's a V-twin, but it's still got a little bit of a top end pull to it. Now, obviously, it doesn't have the rush of like the R1 or something like that, or even the Speed Triple. But it doesn't like the top end isn't like nothing like the Ducati, the S2R1000 that we had on the channel. The top end of that was a bit lackluster, let's say. You'd get up there, you know, and all the power band was kind of like right in here, and then after that, when you got up here, it was just basically just shift because there was really nothing there. But this has, and to be fair, that was like an 08, so it was a little older than this, quite a bit older than this. But yeah, I mean, this actually has some top end rush to it. It maintains some, which is really cool, because I do like a bit of top end rush. If anybody who's owned some sport bikes out there, or inline fours, you get that screaming top end, or you know, like the triples and such. This guy's gonna think I'm following or something, but I'm not following him. We're just talking about a motorcycle. We'll give him some space though, so we can get a little rev action here. Yeah. So we'll see if we can let this guy pull away a little bit, and I will show you some of the top end here. Oh, there's someone behind us, but he is going the other way. Alrighty. Woo! Yeah, it's a pretty quick machine. I didn't have it wide open there. Pretty crazy. It's like, I don't know how to describe it. I looked down going 70, but like I didn't realize, I didn't feel like I was going 70. I don't know if it's the suspension setup or the seating position or what, but you're going fast, but it's like, it doesn't produce that, like that S1000R when you're cranked on that, and it feels like you're going plaid or something, you know, and like everything's getting like, woo, like long and stretched out, and you're really ripping your face off. This doesn't seem to, like, at least maybe it can produce that effect, but I haven't produced that effect yet on this bike, like cranking it that hard. Maybe it will, but so far it doesn't produce that like absolutely insano like feel. I'm not saying it can't though, but it doesn't. It's a little different, like the way it feels when you accelerate. I also don't want to wheelie my face off, so maybe I'm a little how would I say it? I'm trying to be a little conservative with this bike because I don't really want to loop out. I have the traction control on, but I am unsure in the 2015 if traction control includes wheelie control or not. I'm not sure. I'll have to look that up. So I've been trying to be a bit careful. So I haven't been pinning it too much because I don't want to loop out this really nice bike that I just bought until I get more used to it. So yeah, it's really fast. So it almost like the delivery of the power is it's hard to describe. It's like a cross. It doesn't feel like a normal V-twin. It's like a cross between the Ducati S2R 1000 and like the smoothness of like the Busa, if that makes sense. But it's like a cross between them because it's kind of vibey, but it's not super vibey. But it's also not super smooth like the Busa. It's kind of it's a strange cross. It's like it's hard to describe. But it sure sounds good too, though. But yeah, this is an aero exhaust on this, and you guys heard in the intro there the exhaust note. When you're on the bike, it sounds really good as well. I've never heard this bike with the stock exhaust. It came with the aero here on it. I'm gonna take a left over here. Man, oh man. You guys, this thing is an absolute blast to ride. I gotta tell you, this thing is an absolute blast to ride. Would highly recommend, if you got a few years under your belt, you find yourself a good deal, would highly recommend getting on one of these, or even if you can just test ride one. One thing you got to be careful though is it likes to go faster than you're supposed to. So, and it's kind of hard to tell. It's quite the ride is not super plush, but pretty plush. So we're gonna take a right here. The ride is it's kind of odd because it's got that weird shock in the back, but it feels pretty good, and it's some people think it's a bit too plush on the Gen 1s, but as a road bike, it's pretty comfortable. Once in a while though, I do miss a shift. I'm not used to like quite where the shifter is, so I won't let it reset all the way before I try to click up again, so I'm still getting used to that. Maybe I can move that a little bit for my foot, but yeah, what else we talk about here? The mirrors are in a pretty good spot. You don't just look at your elbows. If you can see it there, you actually can see behind yourself. It's a good quality of life thing, right? You can actually like see things behind you, which is nice, and it's not so vibey where the stuff behind you just looks like a blur. It is vibey a bit. If you can see that. See, it is a bit vibey, but you can see through them and it's fine. As far as I know, these are the stock mirrors. And the dash panel on this, it does look a bit dated for the 15. It's got that, we'll go through it on the walk around, but it's got the little LCD screen here, and then you got your manual analog tack, which I greatly appreciate. Oh, we got some trash in the road here. Not too bad though, just some water and some little junk. And yeah, manual tack, and you got your LCD screen to the right here with a gear indicator, which is nice. You know, we got some old bikes here in the channel that don't have gear indicators on them, so I do appreciate a gear indicator. Oh man, coming out of a corner of this thing is excellent. Yeah, the road is pretty trashed up. It's not terrible, but it's definitely gonna have to wash the bike. Woo! Ooh, better chill out. Man, what a blast this thing is. So the ergos on this, mega comfortable. The seat on this is, it feels almost like memory foam or something. I don't know what it is, but this is the most comfortable naked bike seat that I've ever sat on. Ever. In any bike that we've had on the channel here. And the ergos are the most comfortable. Like, you're really pretty upright. You got like a little tiny bit of a lean, but I'm like 5'10", 32-inch inseam. You got a tiny bit of a lean, but really not much, guys. It's like you could sit like this if you sit back. I'm basically straight up and down here. Or you can kind of scoot your butt back and get a little bit more aggressive. This is, dare I say it, my favorite riding position that I've been in here on a naked bike. Like, the most comfortable for me personally. Woo! trash in this corner. Chance to try these tires out. Oh yeah, yeah. You get up there. That third gear likes to lift the front wheel. When you get cranking there in that third gear up in that power band. Here we've got the headlights. I've ridden at night here with it once so far, once or twice, and the headlight's fine. It's not fantastic. It's better than like my the 2011 CB1000R that we've got here on the channel. This headlight is better than that. That headlight's quite poor. You basically can't ride at night without your brights on, and even then it's not very good. So yeah, this is a better headlight than that, but not as good as like the 19 Speed Triple that we had. The 19 Speed Triple we had absolutely excellent headlight, and well, it had two headlights, right? It's got the bug eyes on it, but that was excellent. This is kind of in between that. It's not as bad as the 2011 CB1000R, but it's not as good as like the Triumph stuff with the two headlights. But this is a pretty good headlight, totally acceptable. It works well. I rode at night with no problems. I could see around just fine, especially with the brights on. And I know this is just first impressions yet, but so far, I gotta tell you guys, after a couple times riding this, this is my favorite motorcycle that I've had so far. And we've had, what, maybe 15 on the channel so far, 16 maybe. This is my favorite bike that I've had. The problem is that for a lot of people, these are really expensive motorcycles for most people. I was able to find this one for a good deal, a Gen 1, but the Gen 2s and Gen 3s, you know, good luck finding one under 5 figures. They're all like 10 grand and above, so it's kind of unobtainium. Unless you, like, you know, maybe know someone who's selling one, you find a rebuilt title or something. But they're a bit expensive. But that being said, it is definitely, this is like, for me personally, this is the most comfortable, most fun motorcycle that I've had on the channel here. By a decent margin. I would say my next favorite after this is probably the Speed Triple, and I may get another one again this year. I found a good deal on a rebuilt title, one that I may grab and get on the channel here. But yeah, but after this, I'd probably say the Speed Triple was my next favorite. But this is by a decent margin the most fun to ride. It's just like, the tank looks big up here, but it really thins out down by your legs, so it's really comfortable. It's like to grip and stuff. It's quite small where your legs sit, which is weird for this much power. But yet it doesn't feel insubstantial. It feels like you've really got something because it's a bit of a bigger machine, and I do appreciate that. You get a little bit of more stability that way. Look at the trash up here. So much sand. This poor bike's gonna need a good wash. Also, the U-turn here, the maneuverability, I took this out to like a parking lot and did some short U-turns and stuff with it, like we just did there. And man, it is so easy to maneuver around for like slow speed maneuvers. It is just an absolute joy. At least it was for me. Whoa, man, oh man. You guys, this thing is an absolute riot. You guys, I know I've said this before, but you guys need to get yourself out. If you got a friend or a dealership where you can test ride one of these, and go ride this for just 15 minutes or something, 20 minutes. Just go out and ride one of these if you can. If you have the ability to do so. You need at least try one. They will, especially if you've never been on a KTM, which I had. It's weird, right? My first KTM experience is the frickin' beast, right? But you need to go out and get yourself on one of these and just try one. Even if it's just a Gen 1 like this. I think that you will be pleasantly surprised. I can't wait to get this out on some clean pavement where we can kind of rip it a bit, you know. I mean, technically, I probably shouldn't be riding this nice bike on this all this trash out here, but I'm gonna hose it down real good, give it a wax, give it its oil change, bleed the brakes, do all that kind of fun stuff when you get a bike, get a used bike, you know. Also, I do have a question for you guys about this, for you KTM riders out there. This has got about 11,000 miles on it. What do you guys think about valve adjustments? Do you do them yourself? Do you bring them into shops? Do you delay them and not do them at all? Because I've heard sometimes they don't need them a whole lot, which I think is probably a bad idea. But what is? I mean, teach their own, you know, with their bikes. How do you guys? How do you guys go about valve adjustments? I'd be interested to find out from you KTM owners out there. Man, oh man. Whew. This thing is going to be a lot of fun this summer. I'll tell you what. It's an absolute blast. This thing is just, man, just an absolute blast, you guys. It sounds good. It feels good. I know if you upgrade the suspension on these, I was talking to a friend of mine, Kyle, and he said that, you know, it's much better with upgraded suspension too. Yeah, so we had a little bit of on-off throttle action there in second gear. Man, it's just like, it's so, I don't know what the right word is, it's so playful, like, it wants you to, like, give it a rip there, you know? Yeah, the rear end stepped out there just a little bit. Because of the sand and the water. Alright, so, what do you guys think of the KTM line of Duke stuff? You guys ridden it? Have you ridden a Superduke? Let's talk about it in the comments there. I really enjoy interacting with you guys. That's probably the best part of the channel. Talking back and forth about bikes. I've been getting a lot of comments, especially on the Hayabusa video. Or the videos, I guess, we've had up with that. I got another one to put up with that, too. But yeah, this is it's going to be a fun machine this summer, you guys. Well, let me know what you think. If you enjoy this content, make sure you like and subscribe. And the channel's been growing. Been growing almost every day now. So I appreciate you guys. Woo! Hope you're doing well. And we will see you on the next one. Goodbye, everybody.